Right. So UN committee says Israel's Gaza practice is consistent with genocide. In your opinion, could Israel be punished for such crimes?
In fact, the direct answer, the short answer to that is yes, if the international community and the United States wanted that to happen. The Israeli occupation forces have been committing genocidal crimes and have been putting the entire Gaza Strip under complete blockade and siege. And in fact, the international community, represented by its different organizations and states, will definitely do something about this and will object to that if they want, or would have objected to that if they wanted. But what we see is that the United States keeps on covering Israel by using the veto over and over in the Security Council.
Right. Now, how could the UN reports about the Israeli war crimes reflect on Israel's position or standing in the international institutions?
At the outset, these UN reports could be more serious, but in fact, these requests usually start with the words that are not very strict, because these reports start with formulations like we request of Israel, or we ask of Israel to do so and so, and this is not really a binding language. The United Nations, for instance, should have succumbed to the Geneva Convention on War by allowing entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza, because what is over there in Gaza is just civilians, not military forces. But we keep on seeing how UN reports use weak language, lenient rather language, that in fact just says we request of Israel to do so and so, or we ask of Israel to do so and so. And in fact, sometimes the reports say, we ask of Israel to just increase or guarantee the access of humanitarian aid into Gaza. And this, in fact, is not really binding statements for Israel to succumb to the provisions of the convention.
Now, Mr. Qaoud, in light of the Israeli brutal escalation, from your point of view, what could be Israel's plans for the future of Gaza?
In fact, it is obvious that when we see the Israeli occupation forces, we have been seeing, I would say, that the Israeli occupation forces have been establishing, new settlements in the north and the south, and they went to Rafah and colonized it completely. And right now they are building a new settlement even in the north of the Gaza Strip. And we can see right now that the Israeli occupation forces are not just establishing interim military camps, but they are building concrete establishments and buildings because they have a long-term plan. The Israeli authorities have a long-term plan to get the settlers to reside permanently in these buildings. In fact, this specific thing and the escalations and the genocide taking place in the Gaza Strip is quite indicative that Israel has a long-term plan to displace the Palestinian people and to liquidate and terminate the Palestinian cause in with all its different aspects. And these are the plans of Israel for the future of the Gaza Strip.